Hello everyone, I'm speaking to you from a secret location. But anyway, here I am in Sunningdale, a town of about 6,000 souls in the county of Surrey. This is a very upper middle class residential area. There's not much employment here, just a few shops. There's one supermarket, a Waitrose of course. Over there, the other side of the railway station, they're doing works in the railway line so you can't see it. So this goes back to Anglo-Saxon times, and the toponym is not derived from the sun. The etymology is to do with the name of some ancient chieftain, Sunna. Okay, so look, Hampton's the estate agent. They're always to be found in very shishi areas, and there are lots of sort of 5-bedroom houses with generous gardens. Look at that, £3.27 million. Okay, so things tend to cost a pretty penny here. The population here is mature, to put it diplomatically. Sort of is probably like about a 90% white town, which is not like saying it's good or bad, it's a neutral observation. There's a private GP, so that obviously shows that people here are quite affluent. So it's rather quiet. There is Sunningdale Prep School here, founded 1874. So one of the oldest existing prep schools in the United Kingdom is in a family. The current headmaster is the son of the previous headmaster. I think they own it as a private business. Charity shop, a bit surprising. You think they wouldn't need to be very thrifty around here. Okay, so what else? There's a lot of Art Deco architecture, a few 19th century buildings. Expanded a lot in the 1930s when the middle class were getting cars that could commute further. What else? We're about 10 miles west of Heathrow, and we're outside the M25. Yeah, we're quite close to Virginia Water, which has got a significant American community, which is why there's that American Community School there, or TASIS, the American school in Switzerland, except it's in Surrey. But not that many people there are American. They're just from other countries usually, not that many of them are British. Look at these Brompton bikes. Okay, so selling lots of pricey stuff. What else should I say? So some rather famous people have lived here, and often entertainers. Diana Dawes, who's a well-known actress from the 1940s to her death in the 1980s. I don't think anybody under the age of 30 would have heard of her now, who was meant to be impossibly glamorous in her day, dyeing her hair peroxide blonde. Now, right, so what else was I going to point out? Brian Blessed, the actor, Labour supporter, shame, he lived here. Richard Beckinsale, the father of the evil Kate Beckinsale, he lived here. Any other people? Oh, Cliff Richard, Gary Lineker, the footballer and leftist rent-a-quote. He certainly lived. I'm not sure if he still does. So there are lots of private gated communities, like there is Wentworth around here, which was set up way back in the 1930s. But there's a golf club there still, but it became, I think in the 60s, what it is now, a place with a lot of these very large houses. That's where Boris Berezovsky lived, and he died. That Russian billionaire who'd actually shoehorned Putin into power, but soon fell out with Putin very badly indeed, and lost that legal case against Roman Abramovich. Shortly after that, but Berezovsky committed suicide about the age of 68. Now, why would he do that? He still had hundreds of millions of pounds. Okay, he's going to have to pay out tens of millions in compensation. He's still a very, very wealthy man. He was happily married. He had 4 children. He was in good health for a man his age. Why would he take his own life? No suicidal tendencies before. I mean, but the police concluded that it was self-destruction. But if it was murder, then I think it would have to be an inside job, because I don't see how anyone could break into Wentworth, kill him, and get out undetected. But it was hanging, by the way. But you think if anyone would be able to hang him and make it look like suicide, it would be the SVR, as in the Russian External Intelligence Agency. But the GRU, they're sort of bunglers, and they leave their fingerprints all over the thing. So there was also the Civil Service College here, and that's where the Sunningdale Agreement was famously negotiated in November 1973, relating to the Northern Ireland conflict. There's been power sharing between the Social Democratic and Labour Party, that's the Nationalist Party, the Ulster Unionist, the Alliance Party, and so on. A Council of Ireland, as in between the Republic of Ireland and the North, and so forth. And that got going, and Brian Faulkner, the Ulster Unionist leader, formerly Prime Minister of Northern Ireland, but it was, and then it was collapsed in the middle of 1974 by the Ulster Workers' Council strike. Negotiated here in Sunningdale, not quite these buildings. They've extensively reconfigured the building. I don't think it's used by the civil service anymore. And I filmed outside there years ago, and the construction workers were eyeing me very suspiciously. They negotiated there because they thought the Republic of Ireland couldn't guarantee the security of politicians of Her Majesty's government, indeed, unionist politicians too. In Northern Ireland, the conflict was just raging, so they did it here, okay, a bit outside London. So, what do you think? Pretty village? Is there not much to it? And these phone boxes, who uses phone boxes, is a book exchange now because, it costs too much to maintain. So just leave a book, take a book, nobody's policing it, it's based on an honour system. Apparently you can purchase these things and people use them as shower cabinets and stuff. Look at this private GP open of a Saturday morning. And perhaps you can tell by some of the vehicles, it's a rather affluent area. Is there anything else we're close to that's worth pointing out? Yeah, well, something different. I remember seeing an interview with His Grace, the Duke of Windsor, His Royal Highness, formerly King Edward of that name, the 8th, the king who notoriously abdicated the imperial crown in December 1936. And this is shortly before he died. And one of them says to him, "Sir," because you call him Your Grace the first time you address him, but the second and subsequent time in each conversation, call him Sir. Where in Britain do you really consider yourself at home? He said, Sunningdale, around there. And not far from here, about 2 miles that away, is Sunninghill Park, which was the former home of Prince Andrew that the Queen gifted him after his marriage to Sarah Ferguson in the mid-1980s. And about 20 years later, he sold it to a Kazakh businessman, was named Kulibayev, who was the son-in-law of the president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev. Anyway, so it was on the market for however many millions, something like £17 million. And this bloke paid, was it £4 million over the asking price, and he was the only bidder. Why on earth would anyone pay more than it was actually on the market for? And people say this was a scarcely disguised bribe. Anyway, so that is it. It's a very wooded area, quite luxurious. It reminds me a little bit in Moscow of Zhukovka, or along the Rublovska Chaussee, as in this ultra-elite area just to the west of the capital, just outside the ring road. I mean, the difference is there are a few ordinary houses here. They're not all super rich. But considering there aren't major employers here, it's very expensive. Surrey is one of the wealthiest counties, so it's a very conservative area. I'm just trying to think, which constituency are we in? Are we in the Windsor constituency? Adam Afriyie held that for years. Was he the first black person to be a Conservative Member of Parliament, but never got any promotion, which is a bit of a pity. And now we've got Kerry Badenoch, who's leader of the party. And then there's Michael Trend before that. I can't remember who the MP is now. Right, so Broomhall buildings, and there are a few pubs here. So perhaps you're getting a measure of the place, seeing something of what it's like. So there are people here with high disposable incomes, buying luxury items, smart kitchens, and all the rest of it. We're not too far. Well, I'm from Virginia Water, like I said. Virginia Water is a lake. I remember as a schoolboy going by in the train and always hearing about the station. I assumed it was a stretch of the Thames. It wasn't until 2007 I realised it's a lake. So lakes can be called something water, like some of the lakes in the Lake District are called what is Conington Water, or in Rutland there's the Rutland Water, the lake which lends its name to the county. So yes, that's all there is to say about the fair town of Sunningdale. Well, thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe on Patreon, donate PayPal, georgecallahan79@gmail.com. Okay, over 8,000 subscribers. Right, toodle pip everyone, and have a good day. So goodbye from Sunningdale.